my name is Fahmid Al Rifat. In this section, we will explain what is SQL injection and describe some common examples. After that, we will demonstrate C-lab SQL injection task and solve them. So, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interface with the queries that an application makes to its database. It generally allows an attacker to view data that they do not normally able to read. This might include data belonging to other users or any other data that application itself is able to access. In many cases, an attacker can modify or delete this data, causing persistent changes to the application's content or behavior. In some situations, an attacker can escalate an SQL injection attack to compromise the underlying server or other backend interfaces or perform denial service attack. A successful SQL injection attack can result in unauthorized access to sensitive data such as password, credit card details, personal user information, and so on. Many high-profile data breaches in recent years have been the result of SQL injection attack, leading to a reputational damage and regulatory fines. In some cases, an attacker can obtain a persistent backdoor into organizational system and leading to a long-term compromise that can go on unnoticed for an extended period of time. Let's consider the case in the picture. In here, first of all, an attacker identifies vulnerability, a SQL-driven website, and inject malicious SQL via input of the website. Malicious SQL query is validated and command is executed by database. Finally, hacker is granted access to view and alter the record to potentially act as database administrator. So cool. An attacker can perform SQL injection by retrieving hidden data, subverting application logic, union attack, examining the database, and blind SQL injection. Most of the instances, SQL injection can be prevented by a parameterized query. We'll see it later. Let's move forward to C-lab. We will discuss these topics. First of all, we have to set the lab environment. We have to set the server. This is our server for SQL attack. We have remove previous container and build new container with dc build command and run the container with dc up command. After running proper container environment, we can do our task. In our application, the UID table look like this. The field are name, employee ID, password, salary, and so on. Let's move forward to our task 1. In our task 1, we have to get familiar with the SQL command. Let's run this command in our command line and see. And we'll run extra command also. After removing MySQL data, we search into Docker for MySQL and jump into it. Shell open. We command show database and all the database are given below. We wanted to visit user table. After changing the database, we give show command. Will command show the table of the user database. This is the table schema. After schema, we run a SQL query to show all the fields. After that, we run SQL query to find the data for where username is Alice. This is Alice data which is wanted by question. After getting familiar with SQL command and queries, we move forward to task 2. In this task, we have to log in the web application without knowing the password. First of all, let's see how the code is written. Let's move to our user field. We give our username and admin and give the admin password. Bingo, we log into our admin account. From admin account, we can see all the user details, and here where the username is admin and password is messed, the query ran successfully and we can log into our admin account. But if we write something like this, we also can log into admin account. How? Because writing this hash commenting on the query part for the password section. So where name is admin and commented out the list of the SQL queries, so we don't need the password to log in the account. This is how our task 1 is done. See the question, user do not know the admin password, so how can she log in the admin account? We done before. If we give wrong password, it will give an error. By doing as before, we can log into account without knowing the admin password. Move forward to part 2 of the task 2. In part 2, we have to do the same thing but in the command line format. We will use curl for this purpose. Here, attacker also don't know the user password. The password for admin is cdadmin. Let's copy the curl URL link for the website where the password is wrong. Password is 11 but admin password is cdadmin. In the first line, password for ls is wrong, so after submitting the request, ls cannot see the data. Here we give the perfect password, which is ls, so ls can see his data, and we can see the other status too, and all the other status are here because password is correct. Now we switch to attacker mode and try same technique as before, but this not work here because in here we have to consider the Unicode. So let's find the Unicode for the URL. The Unicode for the URL is this. After copy and pasting the Unicode part in the URL, we run again, and this time we bingo. We find the ls all data here. That's how we can do by terminal. Now in the part 3 of our task, we have to append SQL statement. This means we have to perform more than one SQL query. We can do this simply by adding more SQL query with semicolon. Let's try this. After admin, we write a new SQL query like select all and comment out the afterward query with hash and give the semicolon in proper place. Let's run this command. So when user is admin and select all, but this command don't run successfully. Did it happen? So let's check the backend code. Here we can see our backend supported only single query. We have to change it to multi-query to run our command, so we change it to multi-query and print SQL to check our mission successful or not. Now we compile the Docker again and run the command again, and bingo, we success to run multi-query and append the SQL statement after another SQL statement. Our task 3 is to attack on update SQL statement. Let's visit the part where update SQL statement is written, and there are SQL query field like this. So we have to run SQL proper query parameter. Our target is to skip the query parameter and manipulate new query. Important thing to notice, ls cannot update his salary from the web server, but if we can manipulate the web server, we can update this salary. Let's recompile the Docker because we have changed multi-query to query, single query. Now we logging as Sammy to demonstrate our update query attack. Here Sammy is the attacker. We can see if we wanted to update Sammy's profile, we can update here. We can give Sammy's name anything we want. Let's keep it simple, Sammy, new name, and yeah, bingo, Sammy's new name updated. Also update any of this given field like email, phone number and password, and we can also update email address,
so on, but we cannot update Sammy's salary. This is the limitation of the website, and website do not permit it to update the salary, and we can update other field of Sammy.
In the task, Sammy wanted to update his salary, so Sammy will perform SQL injection attack.
In the update command, after updating nickname, Sammy concatenates updating salary command and give a comment sign. Comment sign will comment out the other updating part and executing the salary updating part. Running this, Sammy's name will be updated and Sammy's salary will be updated to 10,000 to 9,000 as our given value. So as we run the command, Sammy's salaries is updated. So part 1 of the task is done by updating own salary. Now we wanted to modify other people's salary. Can we do that? Yes, obviously. Now Sammy is the hacker. Wanted to lower his boss salary. So his boss name is Bobby and his salary is 90,000. Sammy wanted to make this lower. Let's log in as Sammy's account.
Now Sammy will manipulate the update query. Also, he will give the name as Bobby because his boss name is Bobby, and update name will be Bobby, salary will be 1, and where name is Bobby. The database table where username is Bobby, his salary will be changed by Sammy. This malicious input will lower the Bobby's salary. Let's run the command and log in as Bobby. Bingo, Bobby's salary have been lowered. In the next task, Sammy wanted to change the password of the Bobby. This is similar as changing the salary, but we have to keep in mind that password is kept in the database in encrypted form. Instead of writing password directly, we have to encrypt the password first and then update hash password where the username is Bobby. This is the malicious input where password is encrypted by sh function. Let's check from Bobby's account. Our previous password is incorrect, so login with the password which is given by Sammy. It's work, so it means the password is changed by Sammy. Now we will change the password to longer one where name is Bobby, and we will give password 1 2 3 4 7 8 and run. Now logging as Bobby, we will give password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Show the password. Yes, password have been changed. In the next task, we have to describe the countermeasure for SQL injection. So let's find out the problem. Our problem is we can manipulate the SQL query and commenting out certain portion of the SQL query. To solve this problem, instead of writing query directly, we will prepare query. We will keep data field blank in the prepare query. In the next line, we will bind the ID and password in the blank data field. So if attacker give malicious query, it will treat it as data. Malicious query is treated as data, so attack will not be successful. We have to give select field result here. After preparing our SQL statement and binding it, our new defense mechanism is done. We have to replace the old SQL query mechanism with our new SQL prepare mechanism and fetch the data. Now check the old mechanism in the defense website. We are giving now malicious input. Malicious input works successfully. After that, we implement our defense mechanism. We commented the old SQL query part. Add our prepare SQL and bind data statement here. Defense mechanism are in line 41 to 49. Time to test our
defense mechanism. We have to save the new update in the container and we will launch our SQL injection attack then. So after saving the container file, we launch our attack again. See, there is no data. Thanks for having patience.